Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshor Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hello and welcome to our Seeking the Essence podcast. It's Vishaka Dasi. So good to be tuning in again. I've been running all over the place. We just had a beautiful, wonderful pilgrimage in India, the Holy Land, the chosen land, with a beautiful group, international group of pilgrims going to Vrindavan, holy place of Lord Krishna, Govardhan, the Navadvip Dham, the place of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Now I'm back in Hungary, and I'll be traveling to UK, Japan, Ireland, USA over these next few months. And today is actually the holy divine day of appearance of Lord Chaitanya, who we sometimes describe as the golden avatar of divine love, who came in a mood of extreme, overflowing mercy, compassion, love for the suffering souls of this world, and distributed this wonderful golden gift of divine love, which is our own inner wealth, our own inner treasure, but showing us how we can unlock that, and particularly through this practice of kirtan, chanting the holy names of the divine. So we're remembering him, we're celebrating his wonderful movement, his glories, his teachings, and we invite you all to dive in, swim in these sweet waves with us. I hope you enjoy this talk, recorded here with our community in Hungary on the 5th of March 2023, just a few days ago. Hari Bol. A small group here. Actually, this is very nice. This is actually Srila Sridhar Maharaj's style, right? Small but strong. Not necessary to have so many big crowds, right? But a small but serious group. The quantity, but the quality. Yeah, the quality, exactly. Yeah. Actually, that's what Srila Sridhar Maharaj wanted. He didn't want the mission to become so big, because he knew when it becomes big, then it becomes more diluted. This is his style. And he also mentioned when he first joined the Gaudiya Math, he wasn't, in the time that he joined, it was still kind of small, the mission, right? And he said, I wasn't attracted by like some big fancy building or some very big exterior, but he was listening to the message, right, of his Guru Maharaj, that sound vibration. That was that divine message. And actually, this is how we are trying to live our life. We are trying to ignore what we see with our eyes, right? what our senses tell us, but we're trying to follow the shabda, right? The divine sound vibration, the divine message that is coming from above. Trying to see and navigate, right, according to that higher calculation, right? That higher vision, that subtle plane. We are living in the plane of the senses, right? And our gurus, they're living on a much more subtle plane, the plane of Atman, beyond Atma, Paramatman, Bhagavan, Krishna, Mahaprabhu. So they are seeing things according, from a much more subtle viewpoint, perspective. So we cannot see with our gross vision. So we are hearing their version, and we're trying to follow, we're trying to apply, trying to follow according to that. So Saraswati, there's this one expression in the Upanishads, this anavriti shabdat means that you will attain liberation by sound. And Saraswati Thakur, he emphasized that quote somewhere in the Upanishads, I believe. saying that by following the divine sound and ultimately kirtan, right? Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, we will get everything through that. Ignoring everything that our mind and that our senses and our body are telling us, to rebel against that, and to follow the divine sound. It's a very high and fine way to live. And today we are remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? He came and he brought that sound movement, the movement of divine sound. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there's this wonderful talk Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave once. He was speaking about the meaning of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And because the word Chaitanya is Lord Chaitanya, right? But it also means consciousness, right? And Saraswat is referring to Saraswati Thakur, but Saraswat also means like words or message, like Saraswati, right? The goddess of learning, of speech. And so Saraswat can also refer to a message or words. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave this one explanation of the meaning of our Ma, the name, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Ma. It said, Krishna conscious sound business. Like our business is with sounds. Krishna conscious sound business. This is Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Ma. We're dealing with sound. This message, Chaitanya Saraswat, message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's this, how does it go? This Gaurangam, Gaur Vaibhavam, Gaura Sankirtanomatam. It's it's upstairs. This one verse of Srila Sridhar Maharaj at the beginning of Prapana Jivanamritam. How does it go? That's it, Gaura Vag. It's an amazing verse. It's in the introduction. It's like the second verse of Prapana Jivanamrita. And there's three meanings. There are three persons who are simultaneously being glorified. It's on one level, it's a glorification of Mahaprabhu. Then on another level, it's a glorification of Saraswati Thakur. And then on another level, it's a glorification of the message of Mahaprabhu. Because it speaks about the message of Mahaprabhu as like a deity. So it's Gaura Vag Vigraham Vande. Gaura, right? Mahaprabhu, Vag is message. Then Vigraha means a deity or the embodiment of. So Gaura Vag Vigraha means the embodiment of the message of Gaura. Right? So that refers to Saraswati Thakur. That's who Saraswati Thakur is, right? He's the living message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, embodying that and spreading that with every breath, every word, every deed. Right? So Vande, Gaurava, that divine embodiment of the personification of the message of Mahaprabhu, I'm giving my obeisance, Vande. So Gauravag Vigraham Vande, Gaurangam, Gauravaibhavam, Gauranga. Gaur is golden, right? Anga is body. So it's describing his beautiful golden form, right? Mahaprabhu and also Saraswati Thakur, beautiful golden form. Gaurangam, Gauravaibhavam, Vaibhava. Vaibhava means like an extension, and it also means wealth. So Gauravaibhav means an extension of Gaura, an extension of Mahaprabhu. And then it also means like the wealth of Mahaprabhu. So can glorify Saraswati Thakur as an extension of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the wealth, the glory of Mahaprabhu. Gaurava Vigraham Vande, Gaurangam, Gauravaibhavam. Then Gaura Sankirtanonmatam means that he's describing Saraswati Thakur as being maddened, mata, like intoxicated by the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu. By the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu. He's intoxicated by that. Gaurangam, Gaura Sankirtanam, Gaura Karunya Sundaram. And he is the embodiment of the mercy, the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So very, very Very wonderful verse. And then also in those verses, there's a more direct glorification of Mahaprabhu. It's like the next one. Very, very beautiful. Guru Rupa Harim Goram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam Nityam Nomi Namadupe Nama Kirtana Nartanai is describing Mahaprabhu as the Guru Rupa of Hari, right? Guru Rupa Harim Radha Ruchi Rucha. So Krishna is a little selfish, actually. But when Krishna is enjoying with his group, but when Krishna comes under the influence of Radharani, right? Radharani, she has the spirit of magnanimity. Radharani has the spirit of generosity. Radharani wants to distribute Krishna. Radharani wants everyone to be Krishna conscious because she knows how wonderful that is. And so when Krishna comes under her influence, that's when he takes on his guru rupa, his guru form. So the guru form of the guru form of God is Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna under the influence of Radharani. So guru rupa, the form Hari, the guru form of God is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Ruchi, who's under the influence of Radharani. And Nityam Nomi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanayan. What is his activity? He's always eternally chanting and dancing in Sri Navadip Dham. Shri Radhar Bhavajini Suvarna Varan Sangha Bhange Navadipe Nam Sankirtan Kalite Upasya Shri Krishna Gaura Hari. Gurudev had this verse, and it's a verse of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gurudev had it inscribed in front of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's veranda, and it's describing, again, similar idea. Krishna under the influence of the heart of Radharani, right? Taking this golden, beautiful form of Mahaprabhu and spreading the glory of the Sankirtan movement. It is the most wonderful thing. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes Mahaprabhu as the most complete manifestation of the absolute rasa, this combined form of Shri Shri Radha, Krishna, coming together. And in his Prema Dhamma, there's that verse, Atma Siddha Sava Lila. He's describing, like, this is like the fact that Mahaprabhu is chanting and dancing, right? That's an indication of how complete and full he is. Because dancing, it is a symptom of fulfillment, right? Like you see with children. When you're so happy, you have to dance. You have to dance. You have to move. It's too much. It's bubbling out. It's coming out of you, right? So you have to dance. So his dancing is an expression of his happiness, and he's also vibrating his name. It's like this cyclic effect he describes, right? That he's chanting his own name, which is very funny. He's chanting his own name, and out of happiness. But when he's hearing his name, then that's also creating more happiness. Right, so it's like he describes him as his dynamo, right? And also, he's chanting also out of this desire to distribute Krishna, right? To give Krishna to others. And this is why, like in terms of rasa, in terms of like spiritual quality and profundity and depth, Krishna and Mahaprabhu, they're equal. In terms of the development of rasa, right, divine feeling, they are equal. However, you could say, Srila Sridhar Maharaj points out, because the spirit of generosity has been added to Krishna, then Mahaprabhu is something more, something extra there. Right? If generosity is something if something is wonderful, then you add generosity to that, then it becomes plus something, right? And Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he liked very much this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Lila Mrita Sar, Tar Shata Shata Dar, Dash Dike Bahe Jaha Hoite, Say Chaitanya Lila Hoy, Sarovar Akoy, Mano Hamsa Chara Hatahate. It's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, saying that it's describing the nature of Krishna Lila, Krishna's divine play, Amrita Sar, as the essence of all nectar, all sweetness, all beauty, all charm. Like Krishna's like the condensed essence of all of that, right? And then and then that's being compared to this wonderful lake, reservoir. But then, so what is the nature of Chaitanya Lila? It's like a lake where that all of that nectar, all of that sweetness, it's being distributed in all directions. So that all of that sweetness of Krishna, it's being shared with everyone in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna coming out. Srila Sridhar says it like that in one place. Mahaprabhu is Krishna coming out, where he's giving Krishna to everyone. And he also spoke, the traditional name for Bengal, now we say Bengal, right? But before the name was Gouda. It's not the same spelling as Gaur, it's actually with a D. It's like a D-R, Gouda. That's the traditional name, like you see in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bengal is referred to in that way, Gouda Desh, the land of Gouda. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains the reason for that. It's coming from the word gur. Gur, the sugar, right? You remember from the sugar cane. From the sugar cane juice, they boil it down and they make the sugar, right? Because sugar cane grows very widely in Bengal. So this gur, the name for Bengal, it came from this gur. So it means like the land of sweetness. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying, that like Mahaprabhu, he's giving this sweetness, right? Krishna is sweetness, but with Mahaprabhu we have a chance to taste it. In Krishna Lila, everything is sealed up. But Mahaprabhu, he's breaking. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita describing how Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva, they're like plundering open. They're breaking the seal on this like pot of divine love, Krishna Prema. They're breaking it open, breaking the seal. They're plundering and they're giving it. They're sharing it with everyone, anyone and everyone who will take it. Patra vichar nahi. We were reading that verse not so long ago, right? That nahi stana stan. Shuddha Shah would like to quote that too, saying that they're not considering Mahaprabhu and his associates. They're not considering who's qualified and who's unqualified. Where's a good place? When's a good time? They're not considering any of that. They're just giving it out. They're giving it. They're not only that, they're running after you. Please. This is Nityananda Prabhu's a special agent of Mahaprabhu, right? Not only are they freely giving this to everyone, but even if you don't want it, they're chasing after you. The Acharya Maharaj liked this one verse also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Doya Koroho Vichar Kadite Hoy Chamatkar, something like that, saying that if you're interested in vichar means like analysis or logic, then please come and analyze the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you will be completely astonished. Chamatkar. You like to analyze, you like to reason, rationalize, and try and apply that here. It doesn't make any sense. We hear that once Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he was speaking about Mahaprabhu. Actually, it is a curious thing, right? That it is the nature of mercy to be drawn to the least deserving person, right?
There's something just very natural about it. It's like if you're out on the street, right? So many things in front of you, and then if you see, or like in Navadip, some of the teenage girls, they became obsessed about a little baby kitten. Right? It is something in the nature of things that, you see someone is helpless, right? You see someone is needy, and all of your attention goes to them. It's a very curious thing, right? The person who is in the most need, the person who is the most low, your attention automatically goes to them, right? So it is the nature of mercy to be attracted to the most fallen, the most needy, right? But someone was asking Srila Sridhar Maharaj about this one. Srila Sridhar Maharaj was speaking about this movement of Mahaprabhu and his extreme mercy, and someone asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj, like, how can we understand this? That he's coming and giving the highest thing to the lowest person. It's like, how can we understand this? Like the Kali Yuga, this is the most degraded age, right? Most fallen people. So how can we understand this? Like, okay, we can understand if he's giving something lower, but he's giving the highest thing to the lowest people. How can we understand? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj answered, should he give some stone chips? Should he give some stone chips? No. He's giving what he has. He doesn't have anything less. He only has Krishna prema. He only has divine love. He doesn't have anything. He's not sitting and making some calculation. Oh, I'll give this to these people, and this to those people. And he's just opening up his wallet. He only has $100 bills. He doesn't have change. You can take this and you can keep the change. So this is the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's come. One of the points about Mahaprabhu that is so wonderful is that he is God, he is Krishna, showing us how to be a devotee of God. God is coming to show an example of how to follow God. Like, how kind is that? How perfect is that? He's personally demonstrating and showing us. Because if we read Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna is giving many teachings, right? And if we hear about the life of Krishna, some points we don't know what to do with, right? We can't do everything that Krishna does. Krishna's life is not an example for us to follow, right? And Bhagavad Gita is giving some teachings, right? But you don't always know how do you apply those teachings. So Mahaprabhu is coming, Krishna is coming as Mahaprabhu to show us, how we should follow. It is a very wonderful thing. What does it mean to be a devotee? What does it mean to be a lover of God? Right? And so and what's very interesting too is that Mahaprabhu doesn't show from the beginning that he's a devotee. Actually, Mahaprabhu, he shows that he's converted, right? Mahaprabhu shows, he's like showing a journey that people can identify with. It's not like he's born and he's automatically showing himself as a great saint, a great devotee. But later in his life, he shows how he becomes a devotee, right? So there's also an example there. And you see the transformation, right? That in the beginning, he's this great Sanskrit scholar, right? He's Nimai Pandit. And he has a wonderful life. He's a famous scholar. He travels throughout Bengal. He has many students. He has a beautiful wife, and he has a wonderful mother, and so on. So he has a pretty good life. So many wonderful friends. But then, what happens? He meets the Hare Krishnas. And it's over. It's all over. Then his life is destroyed. And then he goes to Gaya, right? because his father passed away. He's gone to perform the last rites for his father, and then he meets Ishvara Puri, and then he shows himself to be attracted to this message of Krishna Bhakti, divine love, Krishna Prema, Krishna Kirtan. And then he requests initiation from Ishvara Puri, and then he becomes mad. And then he begins showing this mood of separation from Krishna, right? And before that we hear how he would give trouble to the devotees, because he was showing himself like this big scholar, and so he would tease the devotees, give them a hard time. Sometimes we hear that, because he's a scholar and a logician, right? So he would debate with especially we hear Gadadhar Pandit. He would debate with him, and because he was so expert in debate, he could defeat anyone. This is the nature of debate. Like a lawyer, it's not depending on truth; it's depending on how good you are in argument, right? And a good lawyer can win any case, right? It doesn't matter if their client is guilty or not. It doesn't matter, right? Just, hello, Anna. Just matters if they're good at their job, right? So Mahaprabhu, he's really, just imagine, he's the Supreme Lord. Who will be better than him at debate? So he could defeat the devotees using so many quotes from the scriptures. He could defeat them. And then we hear sometimes he would establish one conclusion and defeat them. And then he would reverse his own argument and defeat himself. Right? So the devotees, they became intimidated by him. And sometimes if they would see him coming, then they would cross over to the other side of the street. So this was his persona, right, at that time. This was his play, his divine play. But then after he goes to Gaya and he meets with Ishvara Puri, then he becomes a devotee. He's converted, and then he begins showing this mood of separation. And this is the point, right? Because he's showing what's the normal feeling of a soul in this world. Like, how am I living without Krishna? Right? There's this beautiful verse he used to chant, like Kaha Mor Prananat Murali Vadam Kaha Pao Kaha Ja Virjendra Nandan. No. Like, where can I find that beautiful son of Nanda Maharaj, the king of Vrindavan? Where can I find Krishna? He's the Lord of my life. He is my life and soul, my breath. Tell me, where can I find him? Where did he go? Where can I get him? And he's wandering in this mood of separation and love, asking, where can I find Krishna? And we hear that when he returned to Navadvip, then he approached the devotees, right? And this was like a radical thing. Like, oh wow, this Nimai Pandit, he's suddenly become a great devotee of Krishna. Everyone's very impressed and very happy. Oh, now our group will be stronger. Now we have this Nimai Pandit, right? And so when he got back, then Mahaprabhu, he approached the devotees and he said, oh, we need to call a meeting. Like, call everyone. I need to share something. And so they arranged for a meeting at one of the homes of the devotees, and he just needed to talk about this feeling in his heart. This was the big announcement. Like, call everybody, I'm suffering in separation from Krishna. Like, this is the only headline, right? This is the only news, actually. Like, how are we living without Krishna? He's the Lord of our life. How are we managing without him? We know it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur has this beautiful line. Vinod kohe hai hai, Hari Das, Hari nahi pai. That, who is Hari Das, right? By Hari Das, servant of Hari. Hari nahi pai. They don't have hari. By our, like, I'm a Hungarian citizen and I've been denied entry to Hungary. Yeah. I'm an American citizen. They won't let me into, like, who I am by my birth, by my blood, by my soul. I'm being separated from that. Like, so I'm a servant of Krishna. Jiver Srupahoy Krishna Nitya. This is my DNA. This is my spiritual DNA, the fabric of my existence. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. And now I've taken myself so far away from Krishna. Like, what is more tragic than that? So Mahaprabhu, he showed that, right? This feeling, how the normal soul should feel in this world. How am I living without the Lord of my life? And then he's slowly building the Sankirtan movement, right, in Navadvip, and spreading this religion of the age. And so then this is one level, right? And then the deeper internal reason for his appearance as Mahaprabhu is wanting to explore that heart, that feeling of Radharani. He's coming on one level, he's coming as a teacher, as an instructor, right, to the souls of this world, the Yuga avatar, spreading the religion of the age, the Yuga Dharma. But he also came with his own purpose, right? And this is so wonderful because it is the appearance of the Lord as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the ultimate victory of devotion of the devotee. It is glorifying the position of the devotee, right? Jadi, we have this beautiful song, Jadi Gorna Hoite, Tabeke Hoite, Kemane Doritam De, Radhar Mahima, Premara Sasima, Jagata Janata Ke. This is ultimately on the deepest level why Mahaprabhu appears. You spread the glories of Radharani. Krishna is announcing the supremacy of his devotee over himself. Krishna is bewildered. Oh, my devotee has more than me. So, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kinchi Shovanayaiva. This verse of Srup Damodar. Like, what is that sweetness? And Krishna's curious. Like, what is that sweetness in me that I cannot taste? Right? She can taste it. I cannot taste it. That sweetness, that beauty in me, I can't get that. I can't enjoy myself. I can't taste myself. Right? And what is that sweetness in me that she's tasting that I cannot taste? And what is the joy that she's experiencing? She's serving me and I'm receiving that. You would think I have the upper hand, right? The person who's receiving the goods, right? The person who's being served, you would think they're in a better position. But Krishna is thinking the opposite. Oh, she is serving me and I'm receiving all of her energy, but she's getting more out of this than me. She has the better part of the bargain. So it is the supreme victory of the devotee, right? To be in the position of giving, that is the highest, it is the most fulfilling. To love or to be loved, right? So to be in the position to be able to love, that is higher actually. That is what we are seeing here. To be able to sacrifice yourself, that is the highest thing. It is not a low thing. It is the most dignified thing. To be able to give love, to offer worship, to offer love, to offer sacrifice. There's more satisfaction in that. Like a mother serving her children. Who is more happy, right? Cooking for her children. Who's more happy? The mother's getting the deepest satisfaction, right? So there's such a sweetness in that spirit of giving, of sacrifice, of service. So Mahaprabhu, so Krishna, he wants to explore that. Wants to explore that mystery. It's a mysterious thing for him. And so then, especially in those last 12 years, right? Mahaprabhu spends the first part of his life fulfilling his duty, right? To help the people like ourselves and spread the message of Krishna Prema, Krishna Nama, divine love, the holy name, and so on. And then once he finishes his job, then he retires and he does his own job. Then those last 12 years, he's withdrawing from society and he's exploring this inner, finer world, this world of separation. Which, what is it? How does it go? Bahir de Visha Dwalahoy, Antare Anandamoy, Krishna Prem, Adbhut Chadi. Because somebody asked Srila, because we hear, right, when Mahaprabhu's, there are descriptions in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right, when Mahaprabhu is experiencing this mood of separation, he's showing some frightening symptoms, right? Blood coming out of him, and he's fainting, and his teeth are chattering. We hear that sometimes his joints are separating by a few feet, right? And sometimes they're contracting like this, and he becomes like a tortoise, right? And it doesn't sound so pleasant, right? Doesn't sound like something you want to do, you want to get into, right? And somebody asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj once, he was preaching in his early years around India, and some educated man asked him, you're glorifying this Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, but I've heard about some of these things. It doesn't sound so nice. You're promoting this as the highest goal of life. I don't know if I can understand this. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained, and he quoted this line, Bahire Visha, that this is the nature of Krishna Prema, divine love, that externally it appears like one is suffering from the poison of a snake bite on the external level. But internally, there is the most intense sweetness and nectar. And this is the thing, that if there is a little bit of pain mixed with joy, it becomes more intense. It captures your heart more. Like a spicy chutney. It's like burning your tongue a little, but it's so sweet, you can't stop. It's enhancing the sweetness. That little touch of pain, it is intensifying the joy, the intimacy, the love, the sweetness. Well, we cannot understand these things, but some idea is being given to us. So then in his final years, Mahaprabhu, he is exploring this world, this finer world. Nilamburi tate surasaviraha shepambitam bandhavam Srimad Bhagavati Kathamadidaya Sanjivaya Bhatiya Srimad Bhagavatam Saras Nayanashi Pujaya Goswami Prabhur Radhar Vipur Bhuyat Manekagati. This is Srila Sridhar Maharaj's. It's such an extraordinary verse. It's glorifying Gadadhar Pandit and describing the seva, the service that he had when Mahaprabhu is in the deepest pain of separation. Swaviraha, from himself. This is what is so inconceivable. He's suffering the pain of separation from his own self, right, in the mood of Radharani. And so Gadadhar Pandit, he's seeing his beloved friend in this condition. So then what is he doing? In the same way as someone may give some wine to ease the heartbreak of their friend, right? To drown your sorrows, they say, right? So like a wine, Gadadhar Pandit is giving the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam to Mahaprabhu to try to ease his affliction, pain of his heart. And as he's doing that, Gadadhar Pandit's also experiencing this intense emotion, and he's crying, and his tears are, he's worshipping, described in this verse, he's worshipping the pages of Bhagavatam with his tears. Like, then his tears are compared to like flower petals, you know, raining upon the pages of Bhagavatam, offering worship and also washing away the letters of Srimad Bhagavatam. This one time Gurudev, he mentioned, you know, what is necessary for worship other than our own tears? He said, what is necessary? Because, you know, sometimes we may get so worried, oh, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Am I whatever, right? But are we giving our heart, right? Can we offer our tears? Can we offer our heart? You know, this is the main thing. Gadadhar Pandit. And I was also thinking, when we were beginning of this one time, Srila Sridhar, she told this story about, it was one of the first programs he went to, like before he took initiation, and he was visiting the Gaudiya Math, and he came for Janmashtami, right, for Krishna's appearance day. And maybe it was like even the first program he went to in the Gaudiya Math. And so this was, maybe someone mentioned in a talk, it's like, so midnight, right, is the time that Krishna appears, and so maybe someone mentioned the talk something like you know, Krishna appears in the heart of a pure devotee, right? And so Srila Sridhar, she's very young and new, and so he was thinking, oh, at midnight Krishna is going to appear in Saraswati Thakur's heart, you know? And so he described how he was trying to find, when it was coming close to midnight, and he was trying to find the room where Saraswati Thakur was. He sat like close by, you know. And some of the devotees in the mat, they were like trying to like tell him, go somewhere, what are you doing just hanging about? And they were telling him to go somewhere else. But he had this feeling in his heart, oh, Krishna is going to appear at midnight, you know, in the heart of my Guru Maharaj, or Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. So I was thinking also, you know, ultimately, this is our need, right? That we want our hearts to become a temple, right? That the Lord is appearing in this world, right? But ultimately, we want Him to appear in our heart. This is our desire. So now we are, like Mahaprabhu joined the Gundicha Marjan, right? The cleaning of the Gundicha temple. He's, with so much energy, he's coming and cleaning the temple to receive Lord Jagannath, to receive Krishna. You know, so we want to try to clean our hearts like that, you know, so we can invite the Lord, you know, to come there. We want to make our hearts a temple. And at the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's this wonderful benediction of Kaviraj Goswami. Anarpita chidim chirat kurunaya vatirna kalo samarpayitam unutodvalanasam sabhakti shriyam Adi purita sundara duti kadamba sandipita sada hirdaya kandare spirituva shachi nandanan. Kaviraj, very beautiful verse. If you go to Navadvip now, you'll hear, and I experience, you know, like you're just out on the rickshaw and you'll hear some local, you know, temples like chanting this verse on the loudspeakers. It's a very famous verse in, you know, Bengal. But saying, Kaviraj Goswami, he's saying, oh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's coming to give what has never been given before. This very rare gift of divine love. very mercifully. Karunai is this embodiment of mercy, and he's distributing this rare gift that's never been given before. And Narpita Chidinturunai Samar. Oh, this, and he's describing this shining, this gift, this golden gift of divine love, Ujjvala, shining in a very glorious, bright, effulgent way. And then he's saying, may that divine Shachi Nandan, son of Mother Shachi, may he be manifest within your heart. This is his benediction. May that golden, beautiful golden Lord, may he appear within your heart. This is his blessing, Kaviraj Goswami's blessing to the readers of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sada Hridaya Kandane, in the innermost core of your heart, he says, eternally, Sada. May he eternally be manifest in the innermost core of your heart. Sada Hridaya Kandane Spuratuva Shachinandana. So that is ultimately our prayer. Our hearts may become a suitable sitting place, right, for that beautiful golden Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that our whole lives, every thought, every word, every deed, everything is an expression of that, or a movement towards that at least, right? Maybe we're down here, but we're trying to move towards something higher. We want that our whole life will be going in that direction, right? Like we hear that time, we hear from Goswami Maharaj, right? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there was some opportunity he could get the Gambhira, the place where Mahaprabhu spent his last years in Puri, and there was some opportunity for Srila Sridhar Maharaj to take it, and so he was mentioning, maybe if necessary, I can go there. And his health was not so good in those last years. It would be difficult for him to travel. But he was saying, if it's really necessary, then maybe I can do that. And then he said, if I die along the way in the journey, that at least I'll die going in the right direction. So this is our life, actually. We're not there, but at least we want to be going in that direction in some way, some baby steps, right? In our own way, our aspiration, our ideal is going in that direction. We're living on the basis of our aspiration. And ultimately, our guardians, they're the ones who will give us the ability to follow, right? We can only want it a little bit and try a little bit. And it's up to them, our guardians, our divine guardians. They will give us the capacity. So we are wholly dependent upon mercy. We're wholly dependent upon grace. On our own, we are nothing. We are like a lump of clay. Sridhar Maharaj used that expression. Gurudev also. We are like a lump of clay, right? And we want our gurus to shape us, give us some shape, give us some form. Here I am, I'm just your lump of clay. Do something with me. And Gurudev said once, it was in an article he wrote actually, that he said, I'm just a lump of mud or clay, and my guru, he can make a deity or he can make a monkey, whatever he likes. It's up to him. Whatever he wants. I'm just a lump in his hand. He can shape me. And he can make something beautiful or he can make something ugly. Maybe that monkey will also be useful in some way. We want to be used by them in some way, shape, or form. Right? Then our life is successful. And everything becomes meaningful. So I'm very happy to be here. Many people, they ask me, why, you went to Navadip and you leave before Gaur Purnima. Actually, I'm very happy to be here for Gauri. It's not necessary to be in a big crowd, you know. It's nice to be in a small group and remember in a substantial way, in a serious way. We're very happy with that. We can always remember and try to follow the teachings of our gurus, right? Then our life is successful. Then our life is meaningful. Then we're approaching a tangible world. Actually, this concrete world is not solid, actually. But that higher, more subtle world of truth, that is really something tangible, because that is in connection with eternity. Everything else will vanish. But that plane of truth, more subtle truth, that is solid. That is permanent. So what we can do to invest in that, that is everything. That is everything. So if every day we can put, like children, right? We have like a piggy bank, right? The piggy bank, do you have that expression, a piggy bank? You must have it here, like children, they give like a little, like a coin box.
I understand. Yes, yes. In Hungary, yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we understand.
Like, and every day, it's like an animal shape, and
Yeah.
every day you can put one coin, right?
Yeah.
And then after 1 year, you have a lot of money, right? So like that, we can only do a little bit, right, in our spiritual lives. But every day we're putting one coin in our piggy bank. And then after some time, it is growing, right? Something's growing there. Our capital is increasing a little bit, day by day. And we are joining with the bigger our gurus, they are bigger capitalists, right? We are small capitalists. Our little small piggy bank, we're giving to our guru, and he has a big vault in Switzerland, a Swiss bank account. He has a Swiss bank account with billions and trillions of dollars in gold. And then we can get a better return on our investment. We always remain under their divine shelter of prayer. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Lakshak Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Guru Guranga Ganarva Govinda Sundar Jai. Shri Gaur Avirbhav Mahamahotsav Ki Jai. Does anyone else want to mention anything, add anything? Jai Gurudev.
Vanshakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So you've just been listening to the Seeking the Essence podcast. I'm your host, Vishaka Dasi. Thanks for tuning in. This was the golden gift of the Golden Lord. I hope it makes your day, your week, your year, your life more golden, more beautiful. Have a beautiful day. Sending love from here. Haribol.